How's it going, guys? So I fell behind in reviewing Dragon Ball Super, but I'm gonna get back on track here. So we already looked at the first part of the DVD Blu Ray collection that they've been doing. So if you're not familiar, you could go back and you could watch that video. I will link it right here, like in the top, so you could go click on that. But regardless, I reviewed this part. This is like the Battle of the Gods arc, you know, where they introduce Beerus and Whis. And it's a really enjoyable, like, I gotta tell you something, the episodes contained within this arc are really awesome. The one thing about this series is that, man, they're real cheapskates. Way how Funimation does this, they split them up, and they're so tiny because there's not really seasons. They're just like arcs now, so they stopped doing like season 1, season 2. So I've said, like, this is not all of them. This is just kind of what I own right now. I have the 5 arcs, you know. So we've got this one, the Battle of the Gods one. We did. We're gonna do this one right now. Today we're gonna do the Frieza arc, the Resurrection F arc. It's basically the movie split up, and you know then you have the tournament, which is split up here. You know, we've included on this one too. It kind of bridges the gap into this one, and then this one really starts off Goku Black starts off at the end of this and then goes into this, and that's kind of how they all are. Like, the arc kind of just flows into the next one. This is all about making money, folks. That's why they split all this up. There's really nothing more to it than that. So let's talk about this one here, the Resurrection F, or the Frieza Gold arc, whatever you want to call it. So Frieza comes back. This, I think it's the same thing, I gotta say, what I did for the film review. I went back and I actually watched my thoughts on that. I was like, what did I think of that movie? I remember I enjoyed it, and I still do. I've only seen the film once, but from what I remember, yeah, it was a really great experience. It was more just going to the theater and seeing Dragon Ball Z up on the screen, Dragon Ball Super, rather, just anything Dragon Ball was excellent. But this is the TV version of it, basically, the animated version. So we've got these episodes here, and like, so how is it? You know, it's good for what it is. The one thing that they had in this that wasn't in the movie was the return of Captain Ginyu in one form or another. No, he's back. Basically the frog that made it off of Namek, which is Ginyu, because remember when Goku threw the frog, and that basically, you know, they switched bodies. So Ginyu's body, the Captain Ginyu body with the armor and the horns and everything, like, that body has been disintegrated. It's gone. But that frog manages. I didn't even know that the frog could really do this. But he's able to still switch bodies. So he does it with one of Frieza's henchmen. So Frieza comes back, and just like in the film, you know, he's able to be reassembled. The Shenron could bring him back in pieces only, and so he's crafted back together by his men. And now he has to train in order to beat Goku, because it's been many years, but he's not even familiar with the fact that Goku has gotten so much stronger than last time. I mean, he's had the battles with Cell, with Majin Buu. I mean, he's really, you know, and he just got finished battling it out with Beerus and becoming a Super Saiyan God. So this is an interesting way of visiting. You know, those were still very early episodes of Dragon Ball Z. They're headed towards the main point of the series. But, you know, Goku had only transcended to the first level of Super Saiyan. So to come back now that Goku is a Super Saiyan God, so it's like, and let's now give Frieza another form. You know, let's give him one step beyond. And this form, and they even had the characters comment on it, you know, it doesn't really seem that much different. And that's what I gotta say about this. Like, this design, I mean, I understand why they went for this. It's kind of playing off a little bit how they did in the, you know, in season 3. Remember when he transforms, Krillin actually says, oh, you know, he kind of looks like a cream puff or something to that effect, you know, and then Piccolo says, no, you could feel that his energy level is like just through the roof. And that's kind of what it is here. You know, he's like now kind of all armored up, and you know, it's not that the design is bad, but I kind of feel like it's really kind of like a reskin, kind of like in a video game. You know, when it's an alternate attire. That's kind of how it looks. Because when you think about the 4 stages of Frieza, you know, during the Frieza Saga, during the 3rd season of Dragon Ball Z, like how those forms. They were awesome. They were very well designed. You know, I'm not sure if it was Akira Toriyama who came up with that design exactly, if that was his idea. I know other people worked on it too. So, you know, those designs that they came up with were, you know, especially the 3rd form, which was inspired by Alien. You know, it was awesome. This is a little bit underwhelming. Everything they go through, you know, to kind of get him back together and everything, and them showing him in hell, you know, those are really, like, nice little charming parts and everything. And bringing, you know, Ginyu back in another form or another, you know, is also great to see. You know, they've got Ginyu's voice actor back, and that was, you know, it's definitely all really a treat, you could say. But this is the thing. Kind of after the first arc with Battle of the Gods, we kind of felt like we were off to the races. We're going through uncharted territory while still bringing somewhat of that classic Dragon Ball kind of comedy, more lightheartedness. You know, they kind of got that, but things still feel threatening to a sense. But it felt more Dragon Ball-ish, while still feeling Dragon Ball Z-ish at the same time. That's why that first arc, I just feel, is so much better than this one, because it feels like we're retreading familiar ground. You know, we're on Earth, we're fighting Frieza, okay, you know, but we've already treaded through the Frieza. And that's the thing here. It's like, do you guys realize that Frieza took up 2 sagas? Not only do you have the Namek saga, which he is in, and I get it, you know, he only really fights Nail, and that's about it, you know, and then in the 3rd season, that's when they really start fighting him, and he starts changing into different forms. So, you know, that's the thing here, guys. We've had enough of Frieza. We had 2 seasons worth of Frieza. Do we really need a dedicated arc to Frieza? You know, that was something that I kind of thought they kind of could skip over. You know, I understand it introduces the concept of the do-over that Whis is capable of, because you know, that's one of the really strong parts of this. Whis and Beerus are there, but that's the thing what I also don't like. They're kind of on the sidelines here. There's dialogue from them, but Whis and Beerus, like, this is why, you know, I know people that are just not into Dragon Ball Super. It's so good because there's just so much great comedy, and I think that's the thing. I think people who didn't really care for Dragon Ball, and they liked more of Z, and they liked more of the dramatics that kind of introduced, because they're actually quite different. Anyone who says that Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are like identical just really is, I don't know, they're living on a different planet. They're quite different in tone, to say the least, but I think they really captured a very unique spirit, a combination of what made everything great about the whole entire Dragon Ball universe up to that point in that first arc, and they did so in the Battle of the Gods film as well. So this, they introduced the concept. I kind of like the part where it's like, you know, Vegeta's finally gonna get that win. He's finally gonna get that victory. Because, I mean, this is the thing with Vegeta here, guys, that he, you know, he's always one step behind Goku. He can't quite get there. He's always a little bit down in the power level. You know, he's always behind. You know, Goku gets his Super Saiyan God first, and You know, it goes on from there. You know, he didn't get to beat Frieza, even though he destroyed Planet Vegeta. You know, that would have been a great revenge. He didn't get to beat Cell. He didn't get to defeat Majin Buu. You know, and Goku's always stealing the spotlight. So this was the time for redemption with Vegeta, and I explained this in my Resurrection F review. You know, he's right there in front of Frieza. He's ready to land that final blow, but you know, he's showing him a little bit of mercy. He's kind of doing the dramatics there with him, and it really is like kind of getting to the point where it's like, come on, Vegeta, just finish him. You know something bad's gonna happen, and something does. Frieza destroys the world. So Whis does the do-over, and Goku has to kind of jump in and steal the spotlight. And I kind of love that part where Vegeta gets pissed off at him, because he's like, you know, he doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't understand at first, like, that this is a do-over, that he already basically fucked up, and that Goku had to jump in. So, you know, that is one of those classic, like, charm parts where it's kind of like, you know, Goku just comes in and Vegeta just thinks that Goku's just kind of being the glory hog and everything. So it is very good. I like seeing Frieza again. I mean, because he's a classic villain. Most people, I will say, when you bring up Dragon Ball Z, they think of this guy. They think of Frieza. And that is why, obviously, they decided to bring back one of the most popular villains. Because he's kind of like there in the midway point of the Dragon Ball Z popularity, because it's perfect. Okay, if you didn't start watching in the very beginning, or you didn't watch all the way to the end, chances are you kind of made it somewhere in the middle, you started watching from the middle, so that was like the character that everyone remembered. You know, at least for me, that was like the most talked about villain in school. You know, people mention Cell, people mention Majin Buu, but Frieza is always like that one that everyone comes back to, because it was just kind of like a historic moment in the series, Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. It's also a very fun saga. It's very eventful. Everything on Namek, you know, hunting for the Dragon Balls, everything with Vegeta, you know, kind of changing the way how he views things. There's just a lot going on in that series. With that in mind, like, it's okay, yeah, I understand it. This is not terrible by any means. It's a fine arc. I'm just saying, it just feels kind of unnecessary, like it didn't really need to happen. Like, just think about it. They really could have went from the tournament, you know, like, they could have went from the first arc, from just meeting Beerus and Whis, and just kind of jumped into the tournament, you know, because they would have shown them training for it anyway. You know, like, stopping to fight Frieza just kind of feels like treading that all too familiar ground that we already treaded quite a bit. Our feet have pounded that pavement quite a bit in Dragon Ball Z territory. Now, the other thing that's really heartbreaking about this one is we really get to see how pathetic Gohan has become. And I mean, he's a joke, basically. He is an absolute joke. And, you know, how do I feel about this? Well, really not that good, because I really like Gohan as a character. And, you know, that was the thing. I remember, I think it was Akira Toriyama who had said it, that they changed kind of like Gohan was supposed to take over from the Cell Saga, and you could kind of see it there. I mean, all the pieces were in place for Gohan to kind of take over as the main protagonist in the Dragon Ball Z series. But what happens, they kind of go back to Goku. Goku's the one who defeats Majin. You know, he is the one that is basically the consistent hero throughout the series. You know, they let Gohan have one. You know, Goku, you know, kind of helps him out there. You know, but really, it's Gohan's victory. And you can't take that away from him. But, you know, they change it up. They were like, nah, we really got to make this about Goku. Goku's the fan favorite, and most people like Goku. You know, and there was a lot of people who really did like Gohan. I remember that, you know, really in junior high when most people were really talking about Dragon Ball Z and those episodes were airing new on Cartoon Network. That's when, everyone was basically like, they were saying like, Gohan's amazing, he's cool, he's awesome and everything, and he was a little bit older, kind of, he was like 12 or just about to be 13 at that point. And, you could kind of see why they kind of changed it back in a way. I think just the more lovable Goku just kind of fit in with this series. So really, like, in retrospect, I'm kind of fine with that decision. But it would have been nice to still see Gohan be like, second tier at least. He's just kind of now the scholar, everything that Chi-Chi, his mom, wanted him to be, he has basically fulfilled, and he has become that. And, I get it, the series kind of now sets up for maybe, Goten to kind of, pick up the slack, okay, so where Gohan couldn't really get it done, we've got Goten, and really, I think he's probably more powerful indefinitely now. So it is disappointing to kind of see it. One of my friends jokes around saying that he lost his gains in this series, and he definitely has. And, they kind of joke about that a little bit later on, when we get into the Goku Black sort of stuff. So it is, at least they kind of acknowledge it in the way that he's kind of, just settled down, and the fighting game wasn't really for him. And, that's good. It's just, it's really kind of hard to watch in a way when you think about it, because he killed Cell. He killed Cell, guys, and that's not really a small feat, because even Goku couldn't get it done, and Gohan did. So, at least you kind of have that historic moment to always look back on with the Gohan character. But now he's kind of in the same ranks as Piccolo, because, he doesn't really do much in this series. So, with that said, guys, I will work on trying to do a part 3 review for you. I won't work on it, I'll do it. Just gotta basically sit down and do it, right? So anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video for this long overdue review. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, I want to thank all my patrons, of course. Thank you guys once again, and thanks to everyone who watched this video. I'll see you next time.